Welcome back! So just the other day I cooked up a beat in FL Studio using only stock plugins, and I thought to myself, why not share with you how exactly I manipulate those plugins to get the best sound possible. The project turned out great and I even uploaded it yesterday on my Beats channel, so I'll link that in the description if you have any interest in listening to the full thing. So here we are in the project already, and I knew I wanted to make like a dark and eerie melody, so I started off by laying down some bass notes and FL keys. The effects on there are an EQ to cut out some highs, a chorus to widen the sound, and then Maximus to put the lows in mono, so we don't get any muddy low frequencies. I also automated an EQ to cut out all the sub-bass frequencies as soon as the 808 hits. I then built up some chords on the bass notes using this flex preset. It sounds like this. I used a whole bunch of effects as you can see down here, but the main gist is I used a band pass to only use the mid frequencies of the piano and then widened up the sound as much as I could. I then played in some arpeggios using this pluck preset from Harmless. I used two delays with different time settings, which widens up the sound a lot, which sounds really nice. Then an EQ to cut out the lows and a reverb to get that sound a little more delay, a little more tail end as well. I panned the entire arpeggio slightly to the left. To counteract that, I panned another melody slightly to the right. That melody is a simple pad preset in Citrus, and it sounds like this. Nothing crazy going on there, it just builds up a little bit of tension by alternating between an A sharp and an A. And the only effect on there is an EQ that cuts out a bunch of the lows. For some ambience, I play some power chords on a free flex patch. It sounds like this. Super simple yet again, because the only effects are a phaser at about 40% mix and an EQ to cut out some lows and some highs. The last melody I added were some vocals I sang in myself. They sound like this. The only effects on there are a pitcher to pitch correct my mediocre singing, two delays once again to really get a tail end going, a reverb that lowers the dry a lot. It makes it sit super nicely in the background. You don't want those vocals to hit super hard or anything. You want those vocals to kind of sit in the background nicely, be super ambient. And that's what a reverb with low dry but high wet achieves, especially if it's got a lot of decay and is like a big room reverb. And lastly, I also applied an EQ that cut out a bunch of lows. To give you a good feel into how these effects can really change up a sound, I thought I'd show you the vocals raw first. I pitched them up an entire octave, as you can see here, but without anything on them. The vocal sounds like this. It doesn't sound great, but when you pitch it up an octave, and then you apply all the reverb and the delays and the pitch modulation, it sounds like this. And that sounds quite acceptable, I'd say. So with all the melodic elements done, I started adding in some drums and an 808. The 808 follows a very simple pattern with the bass notes and the fifth of the chords, and it sounds like this. I then laid down a kick which hits together with the 808 most of the time, but then also syncopated from the 808 every once in a while to give it a little more bounce. I have some hi-hats that play in a very simple 3-3-2 pattern, which is typical for drill. I applied a filter to the hi-hats that automates on in the first section of the verse and also in the intro in order for the hi-hats not to hit too hard. I have a ride that is slightly panned first to the right and then to the left, and it sounds like this. For some more bounce, I added these quick hitting and left-right panned perks. And lastly, I added a rim for the verse, and a snare and clap for the hook. The only finishing touches I added were some risers and reverse cymbals to lead nicely into each section. They sound like this, and like this. And if you combine all these elements, the entire beat sounds like this. If you want to listen to the full beat, it is going to be linked in the description as I mentioned already. I uploaded it yesterday on my Beats channel. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please consider subscribing and liking the video, it would really help out a lot. Bye!
Everything's okay.